So, if you can't tell, I'm a big Man City fan.
What?
I know. Yeah,
You?
I know.
Who?
So here's the deal about my Man City history. We're going to talk about the FIFA Club World Cup, which is ongoing right now as we record this.
What is that?
I know. Well, it's the first one. It's the first, and you're right. What is that? That's part of the problem, Jake. No one knows that it's happening. So I became a Man City fan years and years and years ago, back before they were any good, and so now they're great. And the reason why I picked them was everybody at the time, all my friends, loved Manchester United and Arsenal. They're red. I don't like red as a color on my body. I just don't think that it looks good on me.
It's not in your palette.
It's not in my motif. And I chose. I was like, who's fun that they hate. My cousin was trying to recruit me to be a Liverpool fan, which fair game. I do love Liverpool.
Hey.
They're also red. So I picked Man City because they're blue and everybody hated them that I didn't like. Namely Manchester United, because fuck those guys. Okay, so anyways, point is, there's this thing happening. I have feelings about it. It's okay.
No, you having a feeling. Are you okay today?
Yeah.
Did you take your meds?
No. Sprub. So, the FIFA World Cup's going on here in the U.S.
Yeah.
32 clubs from around the world.
Yeah.
So imagine World Cup, which is actually happening 2026 in the U.S. as well.
So wait, hold on. As an uninitiated in the world of footy,
yeah, this is good.
this isn't the World Cup. This isn't vuvuzelas and stuff.
Yeah, okay. So what's going to happen in 2026 that's also happening here in the United States, this is leading to some of the confusion, is that there is a World Cup where countries are going to play against countries. So you'll see the U.S., Canada, and Mexico, because they're going to be the three hosts. They will be hosting 45 other nations. I believe that this is the World Cup where we're going to an expanded format of countries playing against each other. So this is where you would see like Brazil, Argentina, England.
I know the World
Germany,
Cup. Sure.
Okay. They're all going to be playing against other countries. So the Club World Cup is where a club, so Manchester City, Real Madrid, Boca Juniors, like this club from
Arsenal?
South America. Nah, they didn't make it.
But like them.
But like them.
I named like the one club I knew in America.
They also have MLS teams, so like American-based soccer clubs here as well. So like Inter Miami, where Lionel Messi plays.
Ah, okay.
Seattle Sounders, teams here too. They're all playing against each other, and it's like a knockout rounds, similar style. 4 teams in a group. The top 2 go on to the next round.
Sounds interesting.
It's fun.
Who's the best?
It's gonna be, that's the idea. And so the thing that's interesting is the clubs didn't want to do this because soccer players already don't get any time off. So they ended their seasons, just to kind of give perspective. All of the leagues ended their seasons at the end of May.
Mm-hmm.
Then they went and played for their countries in international duty, is what it's called, for like a week or 2.
Okay.
Then they flew to the U.S. on their own and met whichever teammates weren't playing for their countries, practiced, and are now playing games. So the idea was, if your club wins $100 million. The reason why that's so significant is the way that a lot of they don't have salary caps for most of these leagues, but they have like spending limits based off how much money you make. So if you make more money, and $100 million would be obviously a lot of revenue, even for a big international football team, it's a lot of money. They can go buy more players. They can go spend more on salaries. They can go do some pretty impressive things. So that's why they said yes to it. The thing that's been interesting, though, is, okay, so it's June 25th right now that we're recording this.
Yeah.
They're like halfway through the group stage, maybe a little bit over.
Mm-hmm.
So they're about to get to the knockout rounds. There are a lot of people that have already gotten, I guess they're more than halfway through. They're almost done with the group stage. So they're going to move into the knockout phase next. What's been interesting, though, is very few people have been attending these games. And the question is, why? Like, you've got some of the biggest clubs on the planet with tens of millions of fans. Some of them you don't have that many, but they're local, right? Like Inter Miami, local. It's got Messi on it. They're like Messi's still a big draw. They sell out pretty much every time they go somewhere in the MLS. Couldn't fill out the stadium in Miami. So the question is that I want to talk about is why isn't, I know it's the first one, it's the first Club World Cup, but why isn't this getting big attendance, attention? They're streaming it on DAZN channel for free. You can watch it on TBS, TNT, like the Turner networks as well. Why isn't this a bigger deal? Because you have some of the best players in the world playing for their clubs on U.S. soil, and no one's here.
Well, let's talk about today on Vox and Coin. Welcome. I am Jake the Wizard Tlapek here with Dave. Definitely not in red Valentine.
There you go.
And if you never watched a show before, welcome. We talk about marketing, sales, thought leadership, business entrepreneurship. What's impacting the world of business? What are mistakes being made? And, hopefully put some perspective on it. So why would $100 million bounty tournament with the biggest teams in the world that have millions upon millions of fans, I'm assuming, not sell out a stadium? Especially when they're teams that would never, ever, ever have played against each other in ever.
Yeah, I mean, that's part, it's what everybody's trying to figure out right now. Everybody's got excuses. Mm-hmm. None of them are good.
Well, I think about American football when they do, you get one game a season where you play someone from the other conference.
Right.
And those sell out like bonkers.
Sure.
Because everybody's they're not going to play each other for another 16 years or whatever it is. So, yeah, I mean, you're more in tune with it. Where did it misstep for you? Why are you not sitting there watching right now?
Well, because you and I are recording.
We could have recorded from the stands.
Here's the deal. So for me, I didn't do it because 90% of the games are on the East Coast. So Miami, Philly, New York, Baltimore, Charlotte, they're all over there. There's 2 city locations on the West Coast, Seattle and LA, and that's it. And so it's a maybe well, I take it back. Maybe they're playing some in San Fran. I don't think they are. I don't think they are playing in anyways, they're not playing in Levi, I don't think. They don't have enough games over here. And all the games that they are playing over here are not teams that I would want to go see personally. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I think that one of the things that is true, because having been to Europe in the past 3 months, I was having this conversation with some of our European staff members, and they were like, I forget how hard it is to travel just inside the U.S. until I get there. A lot of them based in Dublin, based in Switzerland, in the UK, they're like, we'll go from Dublin or New York or Dublin or London to New York, and then we'll go from New York to wherever we need to go, or we'll go from there to Atlanta or there to Dallas, and that's an epic poem in and of itself. But then when they land just to get, up to Portland, then they're like, oh, well, yeah, I mean, if you fly into Dallas and then you go from there to Portland, well, from Dallas to Portland's a 3.5-hour flight. Mm-hmm. Well, that's further than it takes to go from the very southern part of London, or the very southern part of England, rather, on a plane to the very northern part of Scotland. Yep. That's a longer flight, objectively. And so I think that part of it is it's hard to fly and maneuver and go see as many games as you can. I think the other part, though, that's more impactful is they didn't do a good job marketing it at all.
So what did they do for marketing, if anything?
The best marketing that they had, and I mean this with the utmost sincerity, the best marketing they had was that the clubs complained about it until they gave out the $100 million purse. So like reporters in Europe and South America and Asia and Africa and North America, they were all going, this is crazy, this is crap. They're going to do this right before an international World Cup the following year where they're all going to be playing for their international teams. This is bad timing. Why are they doing this? This is going to injure players. So it was this big hullabaloo about the actual Club World Cup going on. That was truly it, which is fascinating because when it comes to the International World Cup, they have all sorts of little things that they do. They have trading cards that you can go buy and collect for the international players for that specific World Cup. They have ways for you to follow along. They do bracket style, kind of fill out your bracket sort of thing, similar to March Madness for the FIFA International World Cup, not the Club World Cup. So there's all these little things that they've done, and there's also a tradition about it that's like there's an engine there.
Totally. It's like looking forward to the Super Bowl or the U.S. Open or anything, Wimbledon.
Yeah. There's a cadence to those events that we're expecting them. There's even a cadence to the Olympics. My mom, are you an Olympics person?
I always watch table tennis.
Really?
I just find it entirely fascinating.
I really sincerely was unsure if you were being serious or if you were.
I'm very serious. I watch table tennis.
I believe you. I just
at the
wasn't
Olympics.
ready for it.
Everything else I could give, but yeah.
Okay, so my extended. See, I can't stand the Olympics. I can't. And the reason why is I'm like I don't watch the javelin throws any other time. I don't care right now. And really, what NBC has the rights in the U.S., they do a great job of getting people involved in the Olympics by telling the story behind the Olympians. Mm-hmm. And that's really the hook. That's what gets my mom to watch, what gets my dad to watch. They're about the stories, which I will tell you, stories are cool. Like, stories of humanity are awesome. I really love them. It's beautiful. And I couldn't care any less.
I mean, it's like trying to watch American Idol after the audition rounds. Like I don't care that you lived in a hometown and it was a fine life, but you tripped on a skateboard once. Like, So there's definitely something to that. It is a spectacle.
It is.
And there is something to be said about spectacles. But to your point, there was no tradition around this. It was kind of generally panned before they figured out a gimmick to make it interesting for the teams. It's in the U.S., which, to be honest, going to the U.S. for a lot of the rest of the world is not easy.
It's not easy. I think a lot of people feel uneasy about it in the current political climate. Whether that's fair or unfair, I will not say. I'll let you figure that out on your own accord. But I do think that there are people that are worried about that, and I don't know that all of that is illegitimate. There have been some stories that are concerning. So I think that the thing that is on top of this is you and I have had a lot of conversations over the past 2 months, 3 months with executives at some of the largest satellite cable streaming services in the world. Mm-hmm. And there's been a common refrain that they keep using, which is linear TV outside of live sports.
Outside of live sports.
Is effectively already dead.
Yes. It's only existing because it's bundled.
Right.
Most people are trying to get internet-only packages to their house. They don't want cable. They don't want your channels. They just want to have access to the internet where they can get most of everything that they want outside of live sports, which on live sports, they're holding back the floodgates. If they were to just open that up, they would make a lot of money.
Oh, when you say open that up, what do you mean? Because I think I know what you mean.
The sports entities have really good deals with cable, with linear television, and they don't want to give them up.
Right.
And so they're artificially like keeping this whole thing alive.
So here's what's fascinating about that to me. So there are teams in the States, notably one of the pioneer in this was the Utah Jazz.
You like jazz?
I do like jazz. Their owner said, hey, we're not going to do a deal where we have gated game content anymore. Mm-hmm. We just want more viewers. We're going to put it on a free streaming service, and we're going to put it on like a free regional channel. And so they did that deal in order to get into more homes. And the results, kind of to your point of like opening this thing up to a much bigger audience, the result was their viewership went up by 70+%.
Whoa!
When the NBA's viewership is going down, like dropping like a rock as an overall concept. And this is actually starting to be played out for other sports teams. So notably the Dallas Stars, NHL team, they just did a similar thing. But there are more and more teams that are turning to streaming plus you can watch the recording. And that's kind of the path they're taking. It's killing It's killing like media companies right now. And it's adding complexity.
Traditional.
That's right. You're right.
Media companies.
It's even because this is such a new model. A lot of people forget like Twitter came into existence in 2007. I think this is right. It didn't turn a profit until Q4 of 2019. And it wasn't sizable. It was for a quarter. It wasn't even for the year.
Yeah.
So
that's because Twitter ads are bad.
But we also forget that, Netflix took out huge loans, $6 billion in loans to fund future content a few years back. Mm-hmm. They've made that back, and we're seeing all these media platforms consolidate into packages and bundles and whatever, again, because they can't figure out the model. And the thing, this goes back to the sports conversation, but it also speaks to the nature of the FIFA Club World Cup a little bit as well. ESPN is actually it's widely known, Disney's looking to sell it. And no one knew, everybody speculated, but no one really knew that ESPN was the cash cow for Disney for a long time. The reason was every time you had ESPN in your cable package back in the early 2000s, late 90s, even up through the mid 2000s, as part of your bill, you're being charged $10 a month for ESPN whether you wanted it or not. And they would get every bit of that.
Wow.
So it didn't matter if you were like, oh, we don't watch sports, we just got it as part of the package. Yep, you did, and you paying $10 of that goes to ESPN. And that was a deal that no other channel had. And those deals have gone away. Now they've got ESPN Plus, but they can't get the numbers they used to have. So
let me ask this. This is opening up a can of worms here. Do you think it's because people who watch sports don't care about streaming other things? In general.
Don't care about just content?
Like I'm thinking of all of my friends who are big sports people.
Yeah. Would you put me in that category?
In a specific sport? Yeah, sure. But
Sure.
I wouldn't consider you like a sports consumer, right? You would consume one specific sport, and you've got your way to get to that. But I know a lot of people who are like, F1 is on, let's watch that. Football's on, let's watch that. Canadian grass hockey, I don't know.
We call it field hockey, but yeah, I mean,
I like my definition better.
It's good.
But the people who would just like that's what they watch as sports, they tend to never talk to me about anything from major streaming platforms as far as like big Netflix shows or Disney Plus shows or Hulu shows. That's not what they're watching ever.
So I think that my family is the exception to your experience.
Okay.
But that's interesting. I think that this is fascinating. This is a fascinating conversation. So we watched the NBA Finals. We watched the WNBA. We watch college basketball. We watch playoff baseball / baseball if it's a team that we're interested in. I will watch soccer. The kids do not. We are a huge college football and NFL fan, so much so that we have to limit my oldest daughter's consumption of it because she will watch. There's a long history of women in my family loving football, but she will watch 4, 5, 6 games in a day. You know, a game's like 3 hours long. Like she would watch all day long. It's insane. It really is wild. My wife blames me all the time for this, by the way. She's like, this is your fault. I'm like, it is. I did this the right way. So we do watch a ton of sports. We also watch, what have we been watching recently? Oh, we've been watching Andor. My oldest 2 kids have been watching Andor. I watch it with them. It's super fun. I rewatch all of the linear TV, like, comedy, single shot comedy, like what is it? TV
Office?
Shows. Yeah, like The Office and Parks and Rec and Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and it's like all the Michael Schur stuff, right? I rewatch that constantly, man. Like I freaking love that stuff. And then I do watch some new things, but I have to really be into it. But like, you know, I'm in on it. I just, by the way, you're gonna love this. I don't know if you saw this. Oh, God, I hope you haven't heard this because I get to break it to you. Woody Harrelson, Matthew McConaughey. They're already got greenlit for season 3 or season 4 of True Detective.
As a sequel to season 1?
Yes.
Oh.
Can you imagine? That'd be good stuff. So I think that it's not. So one of the things that I've noticed is like I subscribe to Peacock Premium so that I can get the English Premier League. I'm already subscribing for the soccer, but I also get Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Parks and Rec, Community. Like I get all these other ones as well. So I take advantage of it. I will say this. I don't remember the last time I canceled my Peacock subscription because they do have other content that I can watch even when it's not the soccer season. Mm-hmm. But I have canceled Paramount Plus because they have some of the soccer games, but they don't have all of them. And there's a shorter window that they have them. So I'll churn through that because I don't have other Paramount Plus content that I consume on a regular basis. I've already watched Yellowstone. I've already watched season 1 of Landman, right? So like I've watched those. I'm like, cool, great. I'm done. I can pause it. I don't need to keep subscribed to it. I don't know. I think it's interesting how the streaming platforms have played out, how they continue to play out. And what I'm more interested in is individual consumption of content. And I do know that Gen Z, they're not watching sports like millennials and Gen X have at all. It's way down. They'd much rather watch YouTube. They'd much rather scroll through their phone. Like their consumption habits are fundamentally different. Mm-hmm. And I don't see a lot of traditional media brands. And I would call sports teams traditional media brands.
Absolutely. I mean, they're kind of on par with like a musical act, except they're more stationary, right? And they're longer lasting because they switch out their team members. But I do think that society has driven the younger crowd away from sports consumption. Do you think that's due to a lack of interest in the change in society towards like YouTube style content? Like I'll say this, I don't know that I've ever seen a sports team YouTube or TikTok channel posting clips from the games of their players. Now, that might be my algorithm, but no one's ever shared one with me either. It's always like from CBS Sports, like their channel posts the clip.
They do post it. So one of the ways that I really, beyond the football team, I'm impressed by Manchester City's business sense. They've really figured out in a phenomenal way. I've looked at a whole bunch of different clubs around the world in various sports, really. Mm-hmm. They do a great job of creating engaging content that people want to watch. I think that the bigger thing is, because there are other examples of this.
Okay.
Savannah Bananas.
Well, I was going to talk about that. I'm very interested to talk about how to make the entertainment of the event more profitable, right, through ticket sales.
Sure.
I also think there's another avenue where, and this is a legitimate question, I don't know, what percentage of a sports team's profits come from anything other than ticket sales, i.e. jersey sales, paraphernalia, like, is that a sizable amount? Is that most? I mean, I would believe if you were like 70% of the team's revenue comes from merch.
It's different sports to sport, but here's the general rule is that the lion's share of revenue comes from media rights deals.
And how does a media rights deal manifest? Is that like I'm the number one underwear provider of the UFC? And no, I get my logo emblazoned on the octagon, or is it something else?
So usually what you do is you have a region that you're selling into. Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're selling. So NFL rights. I do not know what I'm going to fail to have the right number here, but I'm going to be in the general ballpark. Amazon paid $11 billion to have the rights to televise every Thursday night football game on Amazon's Prime streaming for the next 10 years. Again, I'm not sure that that's the exact right dollar amount, but it's in the billions. And what that does is it goes to the league, so it goes to the entire NFL, and then the NFL divvies it out to each team proportionately. And sometimes the clubs, like each team has like a different deal. For the most part, 99% of the time when we talk about this, each club's getting the same amount. Mm-hmm. When it comes to jersey sales, typically there's a split, like a cut, that goes to the entire NFL. Mm-hmm. And then they divvy it out to every team. However, and this is like the crazy fun part, the Dallas Cowboys are the exception to the rules.
They own all their merch?
They get all the money for their merch. Now, what's also weird is the players, so if you are somebody that's quite famous, because you are, Jake, and you're the quarterback, and you sell 1 million jerseys, mm-hmm. you would actually get a cut of each jersey sale, essentially. Mm-hmm. And that would be in addition to some of the items or some of the pay that you get. But it's not massive. So the point is...
Do I also get to date a Simpsons sister?
Only if you ask nicely. The thing that's interesting, outside of exceptions to the rule, exceptions being baseball, exceptions being sometimes the NBA, your ticket sales are a meaningful amount, but you also have such an exorbitant cost to get people into the stadium and entertain them and keep them there. And we all think that the concessions is expensive, which they are, but there are a lot of teams like right now in Phoenix, for example, you can go to a Phoenix Sun game and you can get a hot dog, a drink, and a popcorn for like $3 per item, which feels a lot more doable, which is in part being driven by the Savannah Bananas model, which is, dude, you've got a family of 5, I've got a family of 5. I want to be able to go for like a pretty inexpensive rate because it gets, by the time you pay for parking and for tickets and for food, oh, and maybe I want to get them a shirt to commemorate or like whatever. It ends up being like a $350, $400, $500 night.
Yep.
And you're like, dude, this was fun, but good God, like it's a lot. So I think that there's a hunger for people. And then the other challenge that live sports is having too, it's such a hassle to get to the stadium. It's such a hassle to go be there that we have 8K TVs that are massive that sit on our walls now. It's a better experience from home. And so in order to get those people to come out, you have to create something that's novel.
Yeah.
And we're starting to see that. There are these venues now there's one in LA, I believe. There's one in Austin or Dallas. And literally, man, like it's this IMAX size screen and they're putting you courtside on an NBA.
I've seen these. Yeah.
They're incredible.
It's like an IMAX.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's way cool.
Yeah.
And they're packing these places out and they've only got one huge game on, but it's like you're sitting courtside at an NBA game and you're doing it for the cost of your meal.
Yep. But to talk about the Savannah Bananas, who seem to be, if not pound for pound, the most profitable sports league on the planet right now. And they sell their tickets for a flat rate of $25 a ticket, which includes all you can eat at the concessions.
And their profits compared to their revenue are off the charts.
Right.
That's what's bananas to me. Like, so a lot of people don't know that sports teams are...
Well, what if they don't know what the Savannah Bananas are? Do you want to explain that real quick?
Okay. So this brilliant guy had this idea to buy a semi-pro baseball team in Savannah, Georgia, which, by the way, on a side note, it's one of the muggiest places on the planet. We just had a staff member go there, and he was like, dude, it was 91. and people like on the call were like, I'm from Arizona, I'm from Texas. That doesn't sound hot. And so then I was like, oh my God, because I've been there. And he goes, no, y'all don't understand. It's like 99% humidity. It's everything but the rain falling from the sky. It's awful. It is just, it's oppressive, dude. Like you're in a steam room type sauna. It's awful. So this guy bought this semi-pro team in Savannah, Georgia. And then it was losing money left, right, and center. And they're like, what are we going to do? And they kept trying to find a new model. And so essentially what they've done is they created a Harlem Globetrotters style entertainment platform based around baseball.
Yep.
They essentially have the same couple teams play each other constantly.
They've got 8 teams now.
Do they have 8 teams now?
8 teams.
Whoa, okay. And they have fun jerseys. They do like dances in between pitches sometimes. They're it's choreography.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. They had one of the guys from Sandlot come and
yes, I saw that.
play, like he went and did a bat, like he actually had an at bat and like made contact with the ball. It was great.
Yeah.
Super, super fun. So they're like pulling back that nostalgia some. He's just taking the approach, and the owner of the league, he wears legitimately a yellow top hat, a yellow suit. Like it's crazy fun. And the idea is it's $25 a head. Come in, all you can eat concessions, get to enjoy the game. Everybody's having fun. That's the whole idea.
They also play on a time limit. It's a show.
Right. Yeah.
It's not a game, it's a show. And they have different baseball rules than regular baseball. Like it's number of innings won, not total score.
Yeah.
And they do some seriously fun stuff. I actually have a personal story about Savannah Bananas.
Did you go see them?
So my sister-in-law's brother. Okay. They just had a baby.
Okay.
And the Savannah Bananas do these like little break shows in between like half innings and innings. And one of the things that they do is they do a kind of like a baby dedication celebration where they come out and they reenact the opening scene of The Lion King with someone's actual baby. And they got picked.
Oh my God, it's amazing.
So they took my sister-in-law's nephew out onto the field and Savannah Bananas, like, it's the circle of life, and like holding him up, taking him around the bases, like it was a riot. And they got to like sit in the dugout with the team for the game, and it was all comped to them, like totally free. And they just had an absolute wild time.
That's so fun.
They also had another one where I saw where they had a kid come out, little kid from the stands, probably 5 years old. They throw him a pitch. He absolutely whiffs it. Mascot runs out, tackles the pitcher, puts a T-ball stand up, hits it, and the kid runs all the bases all the way around as the players are diving to tag him. Scores, they count it.
I love it.
They count it because it's a show. It's not about winning or losing. So like they're just taking the entertainment factor, the reason to watch the game.
Right.
And yeah, it's baseball, but it's not baseball.
It's not baseball. And I also think, here's what's fascinating to me about this. So they just played in Charlotte at the same stadium that the Carolina Panthers play in.
Okay.
They played for 3 nights in a row.
Okay.
80,000 seat stadium. Sold it out 3 nights in a row.
Whoa.
That's like Taylor Swift level craziness. The Carolina Panthers that play there every week can't do it. They haven't done it in a while because their team sucks. The FIFA Club World Cup, just bringing it back to how we started, they just played there. They had like 20,000 fans there. To put this in perspective to just baseball, most baseball stadiums hold about 30 to 40,000 people.
Yeah.
They're not selling out those games.
Most of the time
They're not doing it, right? So they're doing something that's really unique. To your point, it's like it's not baseball. It's entertainment. Mm-hmm. And I think that is really what's fascinating to me about where is media going. I think about Bluey. Bluey is a show that your kids and my kids both mutually adore. And those episodes are like 5 to 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then they're quick, they're fun. It's not a longer time period. We've got like hey, we're kind of getting a little bit shorter. So I do think there's something about how punchy it is. To your point about the innings, there's always something happening. It's like, what's next?
And every inning matters. There's no blowouts.
Right. Right. Which makes the game more exciting, objectively. And the other thing that they do great, go ahead.
I'll give you one more thing. This is a rule they have. If a fan catches a ball,
this is a good
it
one.
counts as an out.
Right.
You're a player.
Yep.
Just by going to the game,
Totally.
you're a player. And the stadium goes literally bananas when someone catches those fly balls because it's so exciting now.
Totally. Because it matters. Yeah. I think that the other thing that they do well that FIFA, which is a much more established brand, doesn't do well anymore, is that the Savannah Banana train, they make sure that they are blasting the ish out of every stadium, every region that they're going to before they get there when tickets go on sale. And they have sizzle reels cut together. They're pushing it on social media. They're trying to find parents and grandparents to take their kids to the game because they know that that's the target audience. That's who's going to have the most fun. They're really trying to hit that audience. They're not trying to do something else. And instead of jacking up ticket prices and making it inaccessible, they went the other direction. And I think it's that going against the stream of saying, we're going to make sure that people know, we're going to invite them specifically to this, we're going to make it affordable for the entire family instead of trying to milk every dollar out of it. And this is an aside, but I think that it speaks to this moment where it's like ticket prices keep going up for sporting events. We are leaving a payment processing platform for our agency because they just announced without any fanfare, they just put a banner at the top of their site last week, hey, our rates are going up to 7%. And we're like, dude, we do millions of dollars of transactions through you every year, and you're doing what? So bananas, that they would do that to me, and I think that it speaks to I feel like corporations are getting so greedy, and that old established brands are so stuck in their old models for so many reasons that there is a change that's occurring that we're not even fully sure what it's going to look like yet, because that story's still being written. But all of the key telltale signs are there that when we talk about this 5 years from now, it's going to be a much different conversation.
One thing I would also like to point out about the Savannah Bananas, and we could do a whole episode on this because I'm obsessed with this concept, is that they market in the margins, meaning that they've taken two audiences that would not normally cross over and crossed them over and created something that's appealing to both of them. So people who like baseball can go and enjoy the Savannah Bananas, but people who don't enjoy baseball but maybe enjoy musical dance numbers or hilarious competitions or wacky entertainment. They've got one guy on the Savannah Bananas. He wears a cape and he's constantly just referencing anime references. Constantly. And so even if you have no idea about baseball, but you're into anime, you can go and watch this player and be like, what's he going to reference next that only I'm going to get in the stands? That's for me.
Yeah.
Right? It's not for everybody. It's for me. And I think sports has lost a lot of that. Occasionally you'll see a stadium do like, oh, we're doing, Marvel Day. First 500 guests get a, Infinity Gauntlet Cup or something stupid like that, right? Okay, maybe you're going to gimmick a couple people out to the park. But most people are going to show up to the park because they show up for baseball, and they're like, why am I getting this stupid cup?
Yeah.
Whereas rather than that being a tacked on piece, it's integrated into Banana Ball.
Right.
It's a part of it, the whole thing all the way down. And so when you can find those opportunities to cross over two elements and bring out something genuinely new for both of them, I think there's a lot of power in that.
I do too, and I feel like, the thing that you and I are continually impressed by with brands, whether they're big or small, new or old, doesn't matter, is they're not afraid to take a risk and do something that is absolutely fundamentally different from what everybody says you should be doing. And those brands don't always find success, but they find success more often than they don't. I think so often what frustrates you and I for companies and sports leagues and whatever is that they think that they're just fine. We're good enough. We're going to have the biggest sports like football teams in the world, soccer teams in the world. They're going to be playing there. We're going to put a big purse on it. We've got all this news coverage about it. It'll all be fine. And then no one freaking... Oh, by the way, we're going to play it in June and July in the South. And the Southeast in particular of the U.S., everybody's going to love that. It's just wild, man. And so it's like, I think you can't have such a big hubris that you're like, you feel you can be above, still fighting for your consumers' eyeballs, their attention, their dollars. And really, ultimately, if you just give them what they want, it's amazing what can happen. When you think about kind of, landing the plane here, landing the conversation, what are some ways that you think about whenever you're trying to do something that's unique for a brand? Because we run an agency together. Like when you think about like, hey, let's do something different for this. What are some of the ways that you approach that process as like a takeaway before we sign off?
Yeah, I think there's a huge problem where a lot of these organizations, and this isn't just exclusive to sports, this is in product and in general business, there's a thought as a business owner that you know better than the buying audience. And the reality is, if you wanted to make money, if you want to make money, because that's why you start a business to a degree. Yeah, you might have some passion too. That's good too. You need the passion, but you also are there to make money. Because if you don't make money, your business fails, and then you don't have a business. And so what did you do that in the first place for? But the people who are your consumers, they are, because of the internet, are constantly telling you what they want.
Yeah.
And there's a perfect example right now of this happening where somebody finally freaking listened to the people. And that is the live action How to Train Your Dragon movie. Have you seen it?
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm dying to see it. My kids are dying to see it. It's on the list.
So I'm going to spoil something for you.
Okay.
If you've seen the animated movie, you've seen the live action movie.
I'm down.
It is shot for shot.
Great.
Outside of like maybe 5-6 lines of dialogue in the whole film.
Wow.
Shot for shot, the animated movie. And it is going to make just as much, if not more, than the original animated movie did.
Right.
They did not do anything original. They did not change anything. Everybody looks like their characters. They did an amazing job making Gerard Butler look like a massive Viking. I mean, he already kind of looks like a massive Viking, but like even more so. They nailed every element. And you know what? They just listened to the people, because that's what we've been begging for in these live action remakes, is like, just remake the original, but make it live action so it's got a cool edge to it.
Right.
And that's it. And they're going to print money. Meanwhile, Disney over here making Snow White and the, Reject Squad or CGI dwarves or whatever they did is getting universally panned into the ground.
Right.
If they had just listened to the people, and that's what the Savannah Bananas do.
Yep.
He literally has 2 staff members whose only job is to collect ideas from social media.
That's amazing.
That's it. That's all they do. And they implement them.
That's cool.
And they're going to continue to grow and grow until one day they have 32 teams, just like Major League Sports teams. And they're going to continue to print money as they innovate and make new ideas. And it's that simple. It's that simple. Just listen, because they have good ideas.
I love it.
How about you?
I always think I like to, whenever I'm trying to get a brand to do something new, different, whatever, I always encourage them to look outside of their industry. It's so easy to be in your industry think space. Like, you and I see this at conferences all the time. Mm-hmm. Right? So we go to a conference and it's all these subscription-based services. They're all doing the exact same things. Like, almost exactly. It's wild to me. And they're like, we don't know why it's not working. I'm like, well, because everybody sees your playbook. By the way, the other thing, too, is their customer journeys suck. Like, you and I have talked about this at length. Drives me freaking nuts. And it's one thing that we are always trying to get better at in the company. But, like, the whole buying process is about your client. It's about your customer. Mm-hmm. But the first thing that usually happens when they buy something online, whether it's Netflix subscription or whatever, it's a thank you email for purchasing, reminding them of how much you just paid them. You know what I mean? Like, it's the most depressing thing ever. If you buy a car, the first thing they do is they hand you what it should be. They should hand you the keys. But what do they do instead? Here, we need you to fill out 100 pieces of paperwork. You know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely bonkers, dude. And so I think that there are better ways to get people to the point where they're excited. And the point where they're excited is when they actually have the product. So instead, this is one of the things that I always think about, is looking at other industries and also looking at the customer journey and saying things like, okay, they made a purchase. What's the next problem that they're going to have?
Yeah.
Right? So, like, what if you're selling audiovisual equipment and you go, hey, they just purchased this. It wasn't cheap. The first thing that I'm going to send them is a video congratulating them on whatever creative project that they're about to make.
Yeah.
Because people don't buy AV equipment without something that they're going to do really cool.
Right.
And so let's tell them that, hey, you're part of the crew, you're part of the community. We're so excited to have you. We can't wait to see what you make. Here's how you can join us. Here's a place where you can ask questions. By the way, here's an FAQ, and here's videos for every FAQ you have. So that before you even get the box, you already have what you need.
Yeah.
Also, what if the next day you sent them inspiring projects shot on your stuff, right? It's little things that get them going, that are adding value to them. If you add value to your customers and clients, then all of a sudden it's easier to transact with you. It's more exciting. It's more fun. So those are just two things that I always look at to get people to think differently.
Yeah. Like, I'm just sitting here right now ideating on that. Like, if I'm trying to sell tickets to an event, why not say, hey, as soon as you check out, we're going to send you a digital scratchy for something that gets you something in the park. A free hot dog, 10% off a piece of merch, a seat upgrade. Like, as soon as you check out, we're going to immediately send you that digital scratchy. And
Amazing.
Yeah,
I would love that.
it would be so exciting.
Instead of saying buy now or buy in the next 10 minutes, or the prices may go up, or the tickets may be unavailable, or you know what I mean? And it's like that's objectively more fun. Hey, you're actually entering into a chance to win some cool upgrade.
If you want to double down because you want to distance them from the purchase that they just made, you could let them pick the category that their scratchy is going to be in. Do you want a food? Do you want a merch? Do you want a seat potential upgrade? What do you want it for? Now they're making a new decision that doesn't cost them anything. It's just distancing that whole process behind them.
Totally.
And they're enjoying it the whole way down.
Yep. So this has been fun. This has been another episode of Vox and Coin. You can check out other shows just like this one on the Vox and Coin network. We've got Unicorn Campaigns and Last Drop, and we're always adding new shows. So be looking for those. If you're wanting to know more about what we got going on, you can check us out online, and including on every social media platform for Vox and Coin. But if you specifically want some information about Jake here, you go...
Check me out at The Wizard Marketing on your favorite social platform, or you can hit me up at finch.com. Anytime you need help. And Dave, how about you?
At RealDeval on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, as well as lots and lots of LinkedIn content. That is where I post the most. And yeah, I'm having a good time hanging out with you on these.
Dude, these are always a blast. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right, we'll catch you on the next one.